Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is Monday, it is November the 11th, and I have a small update to tell you today. I have been stitching on a prompt for School of Magical Stitches, for Cheryl's group, and for my 24 hours of cross stitch, all in one item. That's the way I like to do it. But today I had to stitch a minimum of 300 stitches to get my first prompt for School of Magical Stitches homework. And it was to stitch on something that you would take with you to survive the elements. So I decided that one of those things that's really important outside is to have your sunscreen. And my husband is a big hiker and runner, and he is always applying his sunscreen before he leaves the house. And so I felt like the piece I have that really represents the use of sunscreen is Seaside Kingdom. Now this is the front of the cover. This is how it was charted on white fabric, and you know mine is a little different. But today I put in 503 stitches. Yeah, that was more than 300. But what I did was I set a small goal for myself. That's the way I used to stitch all the time, and I've kind of missed that a little bit. So today I decided to stitch on the castle and finish the castle behind the little boy, because that was the smallest portion of the castle that I had left. So here we are. So I finished the castle behind the little boy today, and it took 503 stitches. That's why I stitched that much. But now what you can see is what I have left. Now I've gotten these two towers done all the way down to the bottom, meeting behind that little boy. So what is left is from this door to this little boy, just that section right there. So if I show that to you on here so you can see what I have to do, you have from this part of the door, that bit of castle I'm going to have to fill in, and I'm about where his hand is, just this portion right here. And then I get to start the beading. So I didn't get this finished in the month of October as I had hoped, and I'm not making a big push to try to finish it at any given time. So I'll give you another look at it with where I am. I'm going to have extra fabric on both sides, which is fine. But I hope that I can finish it by the end of the year. Secretly, I hope I can. Simply because it would be another big piece that I wouldn't have to carry forward. And that just opens up a new slot, you know, in my rotation. So I'm excited that I got that much done. And now I will continue looking at what I'm taking with me for retreat. I have picked 3 pieces so far to go with me. Quiet Please, cross stitcher at work, because it's monochromatic, so that's easier. You don't have to worry about color changes. I just have to count, you know, make sure my stitches are in the right place. And I'm taking Sleepy Hollow with me because it's still in the month of November, still fallish, just right after Halloween. And so I didn't get to work on it much in the month of October because I was so focused on finishing that Simply Love. So I'm going to give it a little love. And the border is fairly easy to do when you're in a group. So I thought that might, you know, be a good thing to work on. And I'm thinking I might take a couple more, just in case, you know, because if you're working on something and it's a little too complicated for you, or you get tired, you might need something a little bit easier to do. So I'll keep looking. I would like to take 4 or 5 things with me. I like to work on a couple of things each day in large chunks of time. And that way I can get some stitching accomplished even though I'm at a retreat. So I will hopefully get a chance to stitch enough in the next couple of days before I leave town to give you one more report before I head out of town. I also want to thank a viewer today. I put a video up today, and the first person who viewed it that I'm aware of notified me very quickly to let me know that about 4 minutes in, it just blacked out. And I guess the file was corrupted. I don't know. So I pulled it down and I uploaded it to YouTube, and I've been watching it, and so far it looks okay. I've gotten comments that people have seen it, and they didn't say that it, was corrupted or anything. So thank you so much to my viewer who I didn't get your permission, so I won't, share your name here, but for letting me know that very quickly that there was something wrong with it, and that allowed me to go and correct it right away. So I appreciate that. Very, very much. Well, enjoy your stitching. I hope to be back in a couple of days with maybe another update. And until then, happy stitching, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Dina. Today is Tuesday. It is November the 12th. Tomorrow I get to take my little precious dog to the vet for another shots, and then Thursday I head off to retreat. So what I've been doing today, now that I have picked my pieces to take with me to retreat, is I've been looking at prompts in School of Magical Stitches and in Cheryl McKinney's group, and looking at my 24 hours of cross stitch, cross stick, and I was trying to pick out some patterns to work on, projects to work on that will meet prompts, but that I'm not taking with me because they're either too complicated a pattern for a retreat stitching, or they're on big scroll rods and I don't want to take them off. So today I chose to work on 12 Days of Christmas. This is a Jim Shore design that was published under Design Works, and the first prompt, the reason that I actually pulled this out today, was for the School of Magical Stitches, and that prompt was actually the first one in the homework listing, and it was to work on a pattern or kit that you were gifted by another stitcher. And if you'll recall, my son, who occasionally cross stitches with me, had gifted me this pattern last Christmas, a year ago. So I thought this will fit. This fits just fine. So for that prompt and two others, for that prompt I had to stitch at least 300 stitches. And then in Cheryl McKinney's group, there was a prompt there to stitch on something that has untraditional foods. And then of course in my 24 hours of cross stitch, acrostic, I used it for the tea for 12 days. So let me show you where I got to today. I wound up stitching 418 stitches. I needed 400 for the top number for Cheryl McKinney's group, and I needed 300 for School of Magical Stitches, and to stitch the 400 stitches takes about 4 hours for me, so that met the 4-hour mark on the 24 hours cross stitch challenge. So here's what I stitched. I stitched the rest of Santa's pouch from that green line there. I put in the green today and all of the rest of the pouch. And then I came over here and I was able to do this star around the pouch. And those two together are 418 stitches. So now this piece is coming along great because the page break is right in here somewhere, not too far below there. And as you can see, I've got about 2 rows through here to finish up. So that means I could potentially hit the halfway mark this year. Wouldn't that be nice? And then I could finish it up maybe next year if I keep working on it at that pace. So that's what I've been doing for that piece. Tomorrow I have other challenges I've got to make up my mind about, and I hopefully will get a chance to stitch some tomorrow. But tomorrow's packing day, because I leave early Thursday morning, so I may be spending more of my time packing than stitching tomorrow. Anyway, I hope you're having a great evening of stitching. I hope this week's gotten off to a great start, and I will talk to you soon. Happy stitching, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my episode from the retreat here in Sevierville, Tennessee. Well, I have had a fabulous time, and it has been go, go, go ever since we got here. I rode up with Donna from D Squared, and on our way up, as we were traveling up here to the retreat, Donna looked at me and said, you know, we're only 45 minutes from Sassy Jack's. So we decided we would take the plunge and go a little out of our way on the way up on Thursday, and we got to go to Sassy Jack's. So we went in and we did a little shopping there. I think Donna did a little bit more than I did at that spot, but I made up for it later, so I'll tell you about that. But while we were at Sassy Jack's, I picked up a couple of patterns. If you've been aware of a couple of the Brenda Gervais that I have been stitching, you will find that this will be no surprise. I found this beautiful fall piece that I can do that will be a wonderful addition to my little field mice that I've been doing for Christmas. Now I have one more Christmas one to do, but this will be for next year. Part of my starts next year, so I picked this one up. This one is called Field Mouse Hollow. And then the second thing that I picked up was a Jeanette Douglas, and this is a Sew Together #3 in a series called Scissors and Threads. And I picked this one up because I want to do it for my sewing room. I really, really think that is a lovely pattern, and I would like to do that. Well, this piece is actually charted for Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks. Anyway, I decided rather than doing that, since I didn't have many of the call for colors, that I wanted to try something new. So I did. I got sulky threads. I haven't stitched with sulky threads. I used the sulky sliver threads for gridding, but these are actual cotton threads that you use for stitching. So I looked at the pattern and I picked those colors and I tried to match them as closely as I could. So there are my blues. Here's my oranges, my greens, my tans. So I got 11 colors of sulky that I'm going to use in my own color conversion for this piece. So when I start it and do it, I will certainly share that color conversion with you. But this will give me a chance to try the sulky threads that I hear so much about. And so that's the piece that I'm gonna do with those. And today while we were or yesterday while we were at Sassy Jack's, when we purchased our items, they gave Donna and I a couple of gifts. These are the labels that they produce for the back of your frame pieces. I got a couple of those because I bought 2 patterns. And then they have a small ruler with their logo on it that I thought was really cute. They put in the bag. And then they gifted us a John James size 26 tapestry needle as well. So that was really nice. So now I have a needle to stitch my project with. And I think I'm gonna actually drop it right down into the pattern so it'll be there for it. That'll be the first thing I've put in there to kit it up. I looked at fabrics there and there were some pretty fabrics there, but I was really wanting to wait and you know, decide when I want to stitch it and how I want to stitch it. I haven't really looked in my own fabric stash yet to see if I've got something for these. So that is my Sassy Jack's haul. Okay, came to the retreat, started stitching at 9 o'clock. I was so tickled to see everybody there. I got to see some friends that I look forward to seeing here every year. I see Joanna from North Carolina, and we are always excited to get to talk and catch up and see each other because, you know, we don't get to see each other any other time. We can talk online or email and stuff, but we don't get to actually meet in person until we come here. And then Stitch and May was here with Connie G and their friend Kelly. And of course, Donna and I rode up together. So, you know, Donna from D Squared was here. Becky from the Obsessed Stitcher channel flew in from California. And she had 2 friends with her that do a lot of traveling with her, and got to meet them again. One I met for the first time, and one I had met at a previous retreat. Got to see her again. And then we had some other folks that I have met either through my stitching group in Gainesville or online that don't do floss tube. But I thoroughly enjoyed getting to spend time with them. That's Sarah and Donna. And then I met a couple of new people that I had never met before. So that was a real pleasure to get to stitch with Lori and Jill and Wendy. And it was a small group. We only had 16 of us here this year, which the maximum is 25. But it was such a great time because you really did get to sit and talk to people for periods of time while you were stitching, and got lots of stitching done, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So while I was here, Donna, both Donnas, we had 2 Donnas here, neither of them had ever been over to Dixie Darlin in Pigeon Forge. And of course, Becky and the girls from California had never been there, and so we wound up taking a couple of cars and going over there this morning and doing some shopping. So I knew that I had been saving my Stitch from Stash budget to get a piece and kit it up that I have been keeping my eye on and wanting to get for quite some time. And I didn't realize until I got back to the stitching retreat that this is actually the pattern that the Sunshine Stitchers are doing a sale starting December 22nd. So I very well may have to join that sale, but this is the Winter Quaker. And I walked into the Dixie Darlin, and they have a model stitched on the wall, and I asked if they had these patterns still available, and the lady that was working today said, "Oh yes, here's the pattern," and she turned around and pulled it right off the wall out of its little holder, and she said, "And we also have the called for fabric, which is a Picture This Plus fabric dwarf." And then she said, "And we also have the call for threads." So I was able to get the Valdani threads as well. And I had been saving up for all this. So this is what my Stitch from Stash budget is going for. This beautiful piece here with these lovely threads on this blue fabric. So I was really happy with that. And as I was checking out, I was told that there's an alphabet for this piece as well. And I'm assuming it is for your initials that go in here somewhere. I haven't looked at that close enough yet to know if that's what it's for, or if it's just an alphabet that comes with it, you know, as a freebie. I'm looking now and I don't see I don't see any letters on here, so it must just be a freebie alphabet that you get with the pattern. the other thing I have been looking for is a large sleigh that I needed for a project for next year. And I picked that up while I was there too. So that is probably the most haul that you will see from me for a long time, because I haven't been purchasing very much because I've been doing, Stitch from Stash. So now the first thing I want to share with you is the first project that I worked on. And I was not going to bring this. And then I got a phone call from one of the ladies that was coming to the retreat, and she said, am I going to get to see that at the retreat? Are you going to bring it so I can see it? And I said, well, I can. I hadn't planned on it, but I'll be happy to bring it. And so I did. Well, I got here Thursday night early, and I pulled it out, and I thought, I'm going to stitch on this a little bit while I'm in my room, and it's quiet, and I'm just waiting to go to dinner with everybody. And I pulled it out, and I got a couple of phone calls from people arriving, and I wound up going to dinner before I got started on it. And then when I got back after dinner, Diane came over to see me, and we were looking through some of this lady's products and stash, and we were talking about everything and just visiting until probably midnight. And so I didn't stitch on it. And I thought, well, I've got it all ready. I've got it on the Q-snap. I've got everything pulled for it, and I was ready to stitch on it. So when I got up Friday morning to start the retreat, I decided I'm going to stitch on it. Even if I just do a little bit, I'm going to stitch on it a little bit. I'll show it to the people that are interested in seeing it, and then I will head on out. Well, and do something different, As it turned out, the lighting was great. The stitching was wonderful. The conversation was wonderful. And I just started working away on it. And before long, I realized that if I kept working on it, I would finish the cross-stitching of this piece, and it would be ready then for back-stitching and beading. So if you haven't already guessed it, it's Seaside Kingdom. And I finished the cross-stitch. So I'm going to back up and let you see it. There it is. I finished the little boy and the castle. So now, I'm going to fold it where I can hold it and talk to you about it. I had to finish filling in this door and the rest of the castle right over around this little boy. And I had to finish the little boy, which I have now done. And now I have to do back stitching and beading. And there is a little bit of krynic and beading up here off this pole that you see going off the top here. So that is what I have left. Now, I have a crazy busy week this coming week, and I may not get to stitch at all. So that made this all the more exciting to me that I was able to get this done as far as stitching, because it could be, a week before I get back to it. But even at that, I might be able to get the back stitching done this month. But either way, I'm thinking between now and the end of the year, I may be able to finish this. I really think I can, and I'm really hopeful that I do. I'm excited about it. I think that would be an awesome finish if I could get it done, because I didn't get to finish it, in October, and I was kind of disappointed about that, but not disappointed enough to not want my puppy. So that's Seaside Kingdom. Well, I stitched on that the entire day Friday, and I finished it up this morning and then took a break. So the second thing that I decided to work on was Sleepy Hollow. I worked on it a bit, but what I learned when I pulled it out is that I had made a working copy of Sleepy Hollow, and I had already taped a few of the pages together to give me a big view to work from, and I left that at home. So I had the booklet that I could use, of course, the pattern, but I couldn't mark my pattern. So I decided to just work on something very easy. This is what the Sleepy Hollow looks like. I saw this model stitched and on the wall at Dixie Darlin. I love the way it was framed, so I took notes on that. But this is my Sleepy Hollow. And all I did today was add this spider web and the margin, the border, the outside of the border down to here. So that was about it. And then it was time for lunch. So I finished up Seaside Kingdom stitching this morning, did this little bit on here, and then we broke and went to lunch. Well, lunch was catered in, and so we all sat and talked and ate and had a great time. But then after lunch, I decided that I really didn't want to work anymore on this pattern when I couldn't mark my working copy. And because I didn't want to miscount and I didn't want to forget where I was. So I just wanted you to see, because I did put a few stitches in it. I put enough in it that I'm going to be able to use it for a prompt in the 24 hours of cross stitch. And that was my goal, to do that. And so I got that done, and I can post that here in a little bit. And so I'll do that. So then for the rest of the evening, I decided to pick up something else that would be easier to stitch on and that I wouldn't, that I had my working copy of. And it was a freebie that I've been working on called Quiet Please, Cross Stitcher at Work. So I got it out and I worked on it a little bit this afternoon, evening time frame. So what I got done was I added this entire motif in the purple color, and I added this motif in the variegated. And then we talked and we went through all of the magazines that had been donated and visited and just caught up with one another a little bit, because by the time I stopped stitching this, it was after 10 o'clock and I was getting a little tired, and I didn't really want to try to start something new that late at night. And so we just did the magazines and things like that. But in this retreat, I worked on 3 projects, and I'm tickled at the progress that I made, at least on 2 of them. I think it was pretty healthy. Well, I had a great time. I'm sorry it's come to a close. In fact, I'll tell you a secret. I was talking to some ladies this evening as we were having dinner, and I was talking about how excited I was that we were able to meet together. There were 6 of us that were able to have dinner together, and I forget now how it came up. Donna said, it's crowded. I didn't know it was going to be so crowded, but there's an event here. There's a Garth Brooks concert. And I said, oh, really? And she said, yeah. And then again, it is Saturday night. And I said, Saturday? I thought it was Friday. I was having such a good time that I guess I thought I had another full day of stitching. But I don't. We're going home in the morning. So before I get home and life gets crazy, I decided I would go ahead and take the time this evening, even though it is quite late, and I would go ahead and tell you all about my stitching, my retreat, my shopping spree that I do once a year, and all of the things. Now, I will tell you, I've been getting wonderful pictures and videos about my baby, my little puppy dog, and so for your pleasure, if you enjoy them, I'll put it at the end of the video. When Donna came to pick me up to come here to the retreat, she is quite the dog person as well and has a precious fur baby of her own. So she brought a gift for my new family member, and it was a card of a squeaky toys, little round squeaky toys. And she brought Coco a beautiful pink, soft pink blanket. I didn't have the heart to tell Donna at that moment that Coco has eaten everything we have given her to sleep on. Every towel, every rug. She pulls at it with her teeth until she actually gets the fibers loose and she starts pulling the threads apart. She literally shreds whatever she sleeps on. Don't know why. She doesn't do it in bed at night, but she had done it to every cover that I had tried to put over on the floor for her to sleep on. So when Donna brought in this beautiful pink baby blanket to put down for my puppy, I thought, oh golly, she's gonna eat that in about 10 seconds, and I hate that. But I didn't want to, make Donna feel like I didn't appreciate the gift, because I did. It was beautiful. And I love pink for her because she's a girl, right? So we undid the squeaky toy, which Coco went absolutely nuts for, and we put the blanket down over the little mat that I have her to sleep on in my sewing room. Coco went flying over there and laid on that soft blanket and just laid there and stretched out on it and just loved it. And I checked with my husband every day. She's not tearing that blanket up. She's not eating it. She's laying on it and liking it. So I think we found what she likes to lay on for her naps. And I'm so grateful. Thank you, Donna. That was so thoughtful. The funniest part, though, is the squeaky toys. They are just the perfect size for her to put in her mouth and squeeze. She is prolific with the squeaky toy. And so I've gotten several videos from my husband just with her going 90 to nothing on that squeaky toy. So I may put one in here just for your pleasure. You can fast forward if it gets on your nerves. But that is what he's been listening to ever since I left the house on Thursday morning. And it's now Saturday night. Well, she's doing well. I'll be home tomorrow. And I'll tell you just a brief note about next week. I have Monday to get my house clean and ready for company. Tuesday, I have a committee meeting of a group at my church, a group of ladies that are going to be the hospitality committee for a huge event that we're having in February, where we're bringing in a speaker for the women of the church. Her name is Kelly Mentor, and she is a fabulous speaker and teacher, and I'm very excited to be a part of bringing her to our town. And so my committee is meeting Tuesday to plan for snacks and a breakfast for them and whatnot. Then Wednesday, we have guests arriving from California. Our friends that we met on a cruise several years ago that we visited back and forth, Lisa and John are coming. They're flying into Atlanta Wednesday. My husband's going to pick them up at the airport, and I'm going to stay home and babysit. But then they'll come on to the house and they'll spend a couple of days with us. We have plans to go to the theater on Thursday night. We have plans to have a game night Friday night with other friends and John and Lisa. And then Saturday, we'll be taking them back to the airport. So you can see why I said I may not get to stitch it all next week. So I may not have a whole lot to share with you for next week. So depending on how much I have with this video and everything else I have since the last one, this may be all you get to see. I don't know. We'll see how it goes next week. Well, thanks for letting me share my wonderful retreat with you. I thanked Katrina, as I was leaving tonight, and told her another great time. And I just thoroughly enjoy her retreats. They're very laid back. There's a lot of stitching, a lot of conversation, and this is her last retreat of this calendar year. So it was sort of a wonderful, way for her to close out the year, and she's got a great year lined up for next year, and she was telling us all about it. And so I hope I get to go to a couple of her retreats in the coming year. I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. It's Saturday while I'm filming this, so that's why I'm saying a wonderful weekend. But I really do hope you're enjoying your stitching. It's getting close to the Thanksgiving holidays if you celebrate Thanksgiving. we do, and so I'm looking forward to that. And then we get into my favorite season, which is Christmas. So happy stitching, everyone. I hope you are having a very productive week. Good night. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dina. Today is Tuesday. It is the 19th of November. Ooh, Thanksgiving's about a week or so away. Not just over a week away. I am back in the saddle a little bit. I guess you can hear it in my voice, but I brought back something unexpected from, I see Coco walking around. I bought something unexpected from my retreat in Sevierville, Tennessee. I brought back a cold. I don't know where I got it from or when, but I started feeling bad Monday night and really bad throughout the night, and then today has been really raunchy. But anyway, I want to show you what I stitched today so I can go ahead and edit this video and get it up, so you can hear about the retreat. Today I was able to start stitching again because I got home Sunday from the retreat and my son and husband had kindly moved all the furniture around and put my tree up ready to be decorated. And so I was able to decorate my Christmas tree Sunday night, and then I swapped out my pictures around the house and got all my pictures on this railing and that one are Christmas now. And so I don't know, the only new one I have this year is Flowers of the Holy Night. The rest I think you've seen before, but I did get a request to walk through the house and show you my cross stitching that's Christmas, so I'll probably do that maybe on the next video. But today I was after hosting a committee meeting here this morning, I decided I wanted something to stitch on that was easy, not too difficult because of how I was feeling, a little run down today and not feeling my best. I was afraid I couldn't concentrate as well. So I grabbed something out of my stash that was kitted up, and this is a little Lizzie Kate, Flip It. And the title of this one is You've Got This. I think it's just really cute. So you can see their color palette there. And now I'll show you mine. I did a little bit of a conversion. I didn't have all of the called for colors. I had some, but not all. So I substituted in a couple of weeks dye works and substituted one DMC for another when it was like a shade difference. But this is mine. And I was able to get it stitched today, which is wonderful. I was really happy about that. So now I'll probably wrap up the video this time with this clip because we have guests arriving tomorrow, and we will have activities Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then Sunday I take refreshments for our church, so for our Sunday school class, and so I'll be busy cooking on Saturday. So I don't know how much stitching I'll get to. So this might be a good place to end this one, and then I can start new the next week. I do hope you guys are enjoying your stitching, and if I don't get a chance to see you before then, which I probably won't, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, please let me share with you Thanksgiving wishes. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you get to spend time with your family and friends, with your favorite pets, and just be thankful for what you have. I know I am, and I hope you are too. And if it's a tough time of the year for you, if it's the first Thanksgiving where you're missing someone in your family, please know that I send you prayers and positive thoughts and hugs. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy your stitching as much as I do. Happy stitching, everyone. Good night.